Alright guys, hey, welcome back. I noticed some of my videos weren't showing the Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system wasn't showing the imaging, so I have to go troubleshoot that and figure out why. I'm not gonna do that right now, so I'm just gonna deal with the CentOS box so you can see what's going on while I'm working my way through talking about the bash shell, because the bash shell does come default on a lot of Linux operating systems. So what I'm showing you on this will work on Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and it will work on Mac operating system, and it will work on a lot of different distributions, because this is just a bash terminal, so you can learn from here. So I know we went over the list command, then we did the options just to see things. I know I talked about the word count command. You didn't get to see that, but I can show you the head command again now. Let's see, and then we can go password. I didn't put a number of lines in there. So it shows me the amount of lines that I want to push out in that file, and then I can show you the tail command of the same thing, so you can see what the tail command does. I think we talked about that. Then we talked about the word count command, and we talked about the cat command, which displays everything that's inside of that file. And the reason the word count didn't work was because I forgot the /. But those are some of the commands that were been shown throughout the videos, and this is basically what I was talking about when it comes to the top bar, the activity bar, the dash bar, the system bar, logging out, locking your screen, coming back, logging in, your settings that you can go to here. You can check through here. Like I said, if you have any questions, just please do contact me. I can help you configure all of that securely and properly. So that's a lot of stuff that we talked about, and that should be about it. How to locate your calendar on CentOS and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. The good thing about Red Hat Enterprise Linux is CentOS and Fedora operating systems are based. Red Hat Enterprise Linux those are basically the unpaid versions of them. You can, well, in proper terms, let me explain it to you in proper terms so you can understand. 1 second. Let me explain that to you in proper terms. Just go into my notebook real quick. So anyhow, let me pull this back up here. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I didn't know that was happening, but now I can easily monitor that. So if you guys do lose video content, I can just stop the video and then start presenting after it's fixed. So some information about Fedora. We'll do Centos first, since we're not using Fedora. Alright, so CentOS. CentOS is a Linux distribution. It's a stable, predictable, manageable, and reproducible platform derived from the sources of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So that's why, basically, if you take a look at the configurations of it, and you go on the Red Hat Enterprise Linux RHEL operating system, it basically looks the same. They're using the GNOME 3. Graphical user desktop environment, so it's not different. So it's a good place to practice. With operating system. So since 2004, the CentOS Linux has been community support driven distribution derived from sources freely provided to the public by Red Hat. So there's some more information about that. I think I'm just gonna delete some of these videos that just didn't show, so you guys don't have to see that. Alright. Alright, why should you learn about Linux? Here's some things. Linux is a critical technology for IT professionals to understand. Linux is in widespread use, and if you use the internet at all, you're probably already interacting with Linux systems in your daily life. Perhaps the most obvious way in which you interact with Linux systems is through browsing and the World Wide Web and using e-commerce sites to buy and sell products. However, Linux is in use for much more than that. Linux manages point-of-sale systems and the world's stock markets, and also powers smart TVs and in-flight entertainment systems. It powers most of the top 500 supercomputers in the world. Linux provides the foundational technologies powering the cloud revolution and the tools used to build the next generation of container-based microservice applications, software-based storage technologies, and big data solutions. And a modern data center, Linux and Microsoft Windows are the major players, and Linux is a growing segment in that space. Some of the many reasons to learn Linux includes a Windows user needs to interoperate with Linux. In application development, Linux hosts the application or its runtimes. In cloud computing, the cloud instances in the private or public cloud environment uses Linux as the operating system. With mobile applications or Internet of Things, the chances are high that the operating system of your device uses Linux. If you're looking for new opportunity in IT, Linux skills are high in demand. Okay, so that's some reasons that you should learn Linux. Like, what makes Linux great? There are many different answers to that question. So Linux is open source software. Being open source does not just mean that you can see how the system works. You can also experiment with its changes and share them freely for others to use. The open source model means that improvements are easier to make and enabling faster innovation. Linux provides easy access to a powerful and scriptable command line interface. Linux was built around the basic design philosophy that users can perform all administration tasks from the command line interface. It enables easier automation, deployment, and provisioning, and simplifies both local and remote system administration. Unlike other operating systems, These capabilities have been built in from the beginning, and the assumptions has always been able to enable these important capabilities. Linux is a modular operating system that allows you to easily replace and remove components. Components of the system can be upgraded and updated as needed. A Linux system can be a general purpose development workstation or an extremely stripped down software appliance. So you probably have some questions about all of that, like what is an open source software. So I'll just tell you, open source software is a software with source code that anyone can use, study, modify, and share. Source code is a set of human readable instructions that are used to make a program. It may be interpreted as a script or compiled into binary executable, which the computer runs directly. Upon creating source code, it gets copyrighted, and the copyright holder controls the terms under which the software can be copied, adapted, and distributed. Users can use this software under a software license. Some software has source code that only the person, team, or organization that created it can see or change or distribute. This software is sometimes called proprietary or closed software. Typically, the license only allows the end user to run the program and provide no access or tightly limited access to the source. Open source software is different. When the copyright holder provides software under an open source license, they grant the user the right to run a program and also view, modify, compile, and redistribute the source royalty fee to others. Open source promotes collaboration, sharing, transparency, and rapid innovation because it encourages people beyond the original developers to make modifications and improvements to the software and share it with others. Just because the software is open source does not mean it is somehow not able to be used or provided commercially. Open source is a critical part of many organizations' commercial operations. Some open source licenses allow code to be reused in closed source products. One can sell open source code, but the terms of true open source licenses generally allow the customer to redistribute the source code. Most commonly, vendors such as Red Hat provide commercial help with deploying, supporting, and extending solutions based on open source products. Open source has many benefits for the user. Some of the benefits are control to see what the code does and to change it and to improve it, training, learns from the real world code, and develop more useful applications. Another benefit is security, to inspect the sensitive code, fix with or without the original developer's help. Stability means the code can survive the loss of the original developer or distributor. The bottom line is that open source allows that allows the creation of better software with a higher return on investment by collaboration. So there's different types of open source software licenses. There's more than one way to provide open source software. The terms of the software license control how the source can be combined with other code or reused, and hundreds of different open source licenses exist. However, to be open source, licenses must allow the users to freely use, view, change, compile, and distribute the code. There are two broad classes of open source licenses that are particularly important. Copyleft licenses that are designed to encourage keeping code open source. Permissive licenses that are designed to maximize code reusability. So I'm going to stop there. So this video is not too long. There's a bit of an intro to issues that I've been going through, intro to VM workstations, CentOS, Fedora, open source. So I hope you enjoyed all this, the bit of information that I provided you, and just please like, subscribe, donate, comment, and start looking up my pages if you can. theturner.com, my Facebook, my Instagram. Please get in contact me if you need any help. I'll be here for you. So thank you for watching, and more content will be coming shortly.